Well, here we go again, guys. The early birds are here. It's a couple hours before sundown, and the female's here. She just came out of the tarp, and little Napoleon came from out under the wood right there. So I am not going to try and hand feed him again. He is just too much of a monster. But I'll let him come up close to me. See how he does the arch back when he comes over by me. That's just how he's wired. He's displayed to show aggression. And some have had a theory it had to do with his childhood when he was real little. Maybe he was abandoned early by his mother and he had it rough. He had some bad experiences, and all of that is possible. And I don't want to pre-label him as a bad raccoon or nothing like that. He's not. He's just a different personality is all. So that's his way of getting through the world, is to have that extra large personality, which is why I gave him that name. He was that way very little. So it's good to see him again. We have severe storms coming pretty soon. There's some warnings in the area. So they got to eat now because it's going to be pouring pretty soon. We might get a couple inches of rain, maybe some hail, and some good thunderstorms. So get it now, guys. Oh, and Anna says, hi, little Napoleon. Anna likes little Napoleon and gave a real generous gift to help feed this monster. So, plenty of peanuts for Napoleon. That female is not liking his presence there, that's for sure. Oh, here he comes. Here comes the big grumpy boy. How you doing, Napoleon? It's good to see you, too. Have some peanuts. Oh, it got stuck in your tooth. You'll see him do that sometimes. It just gets stuck. Oh no. He's choking it up. There he goes. He spit out the peanut that was giving him a problem. Yeah, are you going to sneak by me without lunging at me? Okay, be careful. Nice and easy. So I got some peanuts down the path there too. But he might be looking for water. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to eat those peanuts. I think he wants to be away from that female. And I don't have a name for this girl. And I don't see her on the patio at nighttime with the others so much. She's kind of a loner. So I do think she is the most pregnant out of the group. And she loves this spot right here. This is where she sets up, and I feed her. Well, I put food out in the morning, and then after work I come and I put more food out, so she's always has some in this area to eat, and that's mostly what her diet is back here. What are you doing? What are you doing crawling through my plants? So I notice he's a little more nervous from the last time I saw him. I did tell him to go sit in the corner though and take a time out. Perhaps he doesn't like that. He's holding it against me. I love this guy. He is a character. So I was just watching the news, and they're talking about that explosion of cicadas all throughout the country. And I'm wondering if any of you viewers from down south are experiencing that already. I've heard parts of South Carolina and Georgia are seeing them. And it's slowly going to be moving up the country, and my state, the part of my state, this lower part of the state is going to get hit. So that's going to be interesting. I was thinking, do these guys eat cicadas? I would imagine they do. That's probably a big protein hit for them right there to crunch into a cicada. You coming to say hi? There you go. What is with you today and peanuts? It's like food keeps getting stuck in his teeth. Goodness, little Napoleon. Are you okay? Oh, goodness, that looks difficult. Yeah, I can see him trying to spit it out. Yay. The bird bath is right there. I don't think he wants to go past the female. Go to the bird bath. Come on, get some water. There you go. It's almost as if they understand me sometimes. You'll notice when I'm playing a game with them, I'll talk to one of them and I'll say, come on in and do this. And then right after I say it, they come in and do it. And I'm always amazed at how that goes. Now, like Moira, she knows her name. I say Moira, she looks at me. Wiener knows his name. Cutie knows her name. So some of them actually they've picked up on the pitch and the syllables where they look at me going, yeah, that's what he says when food comes my way. Hi, cutie monster. Hi, baby. I got a cookie for you, sweetie. There you go. There you go, sweetie. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Oh, they're just loving to hold up by this area now. Oh, who's sneaking up behind me here? Oh, that's Mama Moira. Hi, Moira. I just saw your daughter, Cutie. Yeah, you're coming around the shed, gonna ambush me? There you go, sweet mama. Eat up. Oh, sweet cutie monster. How you doing today? How you doing, little girl? You look so cute. Let me see your belly. Oh, there's one right there going into the tarp. Yeah, this is just a hot spot lately. And you'll hear one go in and the other one starts to grumble and complain. I think that female's not liking that the others want to utilize the same area. Oh, hi, cutie monster. Hi, baby girl. Okay, I got a question for you guys out there. What do you do when a neighbor walks into your yard and says, I came home, came out of my garage, and there was a raccoon staring at me, and I was terrified. And I suggest to the neighbor, well, you could clap your hands and it'll run away. And then the neighbor says, you're not listening to me. You got to stop this. There's too many raccoons. What do you want? Zillions. You can't treat these things like pets. You can't domesticate these things. And I'm understanding that. But the same neighbor puts out birdseed and puts out water for the deer, for the squirrels, for the birds. This is just another animal that frequents our backyard. And what's wrong with feeding this animal, and why is it all right to feed all the other animals? And it mostly seems to me it's just the stereotypes. These guys continually are put on the bottom. They're continually diminished. They're continually called vermin and pests, and everything else is okay. And I don't believe that. And I'm a defender of these guys, but I also want to be a good neighbor. And it feels like a real conflict of interest to me. I can obviously tell one of my neighbors is disturbed by me feeding raccoons in my yard. No one's had damage to any of their yards. I've never heard a report of damage. It's always the what if. What if they come into our house? What if they crawl in through our chimney? And I'm looking at all these houses and there's no tree branches going to anyone's chimney. I don't know how they'd get up on anyone's roof. But it's a lot of fear and paranoia with raccoons all the time. Not that that doesn't ever happen. It does happen. But they're usually more likely to happen in homes that have been dilapidated or not taken care of, where there's access to a home for a raccoon like that to take advantage of. So I'm in this gray area right now of wanting to be a good neighbor, but also wanting to continue my passion with raccoons. And I said I wasn't going to hide things back from my channel, and this is what recently happened. Right before I filmed the food challenge, the neighbor came and started going off, and even pointed at my brush pile for the birds and says, get rid of this piece of crap, which seemed like some powerful words to tell another neighbor how they have to, what they can and can't have in their yard. And so I was offended, but I also think she was offended. She was offended by me. And it's just a tricky position I'm in right now. So I would appreciate some feedback, because it's a little nerve-wracking. I've looked into the state laws, and from everything I can tell, this is legal what I'm doing. There's just a few big species you can't do this with: deer, elk, and bear. And doesn't say nothing about raccoons. So it seems to me I'm within the laws what I'm doing, unless my city, which I haven't completely researched, has a different ordinance. I don't see why I should stop doing this. Oh boy, mother and daughter, Moira versus Cutie. So guys, if you could be kind enough to go in the comments area and tell me what you think. Cutie, I know you're such an addict. If I stopped, you would have to cold turkey quit. And there is a turkey that comes into the yard. I'll give you a bag of ice too, so you can have cold turkey and you can deal with the lack of me feeding you cookies. Okay, part 2 of what has me rattled today is a comment that someone left. Someone that was a raccoon rehabber or a wildlife rehabber for 30 years and a conservationist left a very, very long comment all about rabies and raccoons. And some of the things this individual stated, I have not run into in research. I'm not saying they're wrong. I have not encountered it, such as you don't have to be bit by a raccoon, that just the saliva on the paws, contact with a human or a pet could give them rabies. I don't think that's accurate from everything I've studied, but this is what they claimed. They also claimed a raccoon can give rabies to a person, and that person will show no symptoms for an entire year till it carries through the blood barrier to the brain, and then you first start to show symptoms, and then at that point there's nothing they can do for you. I've never heard of that before either. So maybe some of you know more about it than I do. And they claim that only one person has ever survived from rabies. Now, when I do research on raccoon rabies and I go to a site like the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, what I've come across is only one human being has ever died from the raccoon strain of rabies. And just about anything you can think of in your mind has killed more people than a raccoon, including giant pine cones and coconuts falling out of trees. So, I don't know. Maybe I have to do deeper research into this. Again, it's night after night with the same individuals. I can tell if anything's wrong with any of them. I do realize they can have the virus in them for a day or two before they show any signs. And the possibility of me getting a scratch or a bite could cause that transmission. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is possible. And I do know that a large percentage of raccoons can carry the rabies virus. It's mostly in hot spots. So I'm not trying to diminish it, and I'm definitely not encouraging anyone else to do what I do. I have it on my description page. Don't do what I do. So I really need some feedback. The neighbor thing and this comment from this person has me feeling a little bit off. Hey, here's Heather, here's Bill. They're starting to come in now. It's just getting dark. To open up about the conversation a little bit more with me and animal feeding, as far back as I can remember, I've been attempting to feed wildlife straight out of my hand. I mean, 4 or 5 years old, I would have my hand outside with sunflower seeds forever, waiting for a chickadee to land in my hand, waiting for a chipmunk to eat out of my hand. I fed squirrels out of my hand. I think I told a lot of you the story where that chipmunk missed the nut and bit my thumb, and I cried, and my mom and dad said, "It's okay, go back out," and I tried again, and it took it right. It's just something I've been doing forever. I've encountered wild raccoons multiple times as a child. Where I lived, our neighborhood had the metal garbage cans, and they got stuck in them all the time, and I always tipped them over, and I rescued them to get them out. There was many I touched on the tail or touched on the back when they went on a fence and they were looking the other way. I couldn't help myself. I always had to touch a wild animal. And I'm not encouraging others to do it. It's just something I've always done. I have so many encounters, amazing animal encounters I've had as a young person. I had a baby fox crawling on my legs. I had raccoons crawl into my canoe while I was taking a lunch break against the shore. It's just, I can go on and on with my stories of encounters I've had with animals. This means so much to me. And I tried to share this with my neighbor on how I got this from my grandpa, and she wasn't going to have any of it. She didn't want to hear it. And that's where I'm really torn, because it's something I'm passionate about, but my neighbor is passionate about a perfect yard. And I'm not as passionate about plants. I'm more passionate about animals. And I do animals make trails through yards, and sometimes they will crush your flowers when they're getting into a fight, and I understand that, but that's mostly taking place in my yard. And so I guess it's the butting of heads right now, and I really fear the vibe I got is that this neighbor might go on the warpath trying to end what I have going on here. And so there might be dicey days ahead for OONSDAY. We're going to see. I'm going to keep doing this. I want to do this. It's legal what I'm doing. Some states it's not. So I need to vent in this video because I'm a little bit nervous about someone that seems motivated to put an end to this. While I was just filming little Napoleon during the daytime, suddenly him and the female ran off, and that neighbor was right on the property line snapping branches, and I think it was on purpose because she heard me filming. So that's what I'm going to have to start to put up with, is someone trying to wreck my show. And that's going to be an issue because these guys will get nervous and they will run off. So let's, as a giant raccoon family, let's talk about this, and let's try and work out a plan how we should deal with this, because I kind of need some input. So back to the lines of rabies and the risk of it. I've never seen a rabbit raccoon. I've spoken to people that have seen it. A disoriented raccoon. It's acting strange. It's out during the daytime. I've never encountered that. And all of my raccoons I see night after night after night, and they're healthy. They'll have injuries, which you'll see. They'll have hair issues, but it seems to always fix itself. So I've never seen my raccoons be sick. I've seen injuries, which is different from sickness. And I'm not going to name names of other raccoon channels, but there's people out there that have been doing this for decades, feeding raccoons. Why aren't they dead from rabies? They're hand feeding multiple raccoons night after night after night for many, many years. If these are the boogeymen that some people are just determined to get across in the comment section again and again, and I mean, someone just left paragraphs in the comment section today for me on how rabies is almost a certainty. And why are these people still around? And it just seems like a numbers game. If they all had rabies, they'd all be dead because it kills raccoons. So a lot of this is weighing on my mind too. And I have another thought. I see there seems to be this movement of seeing us separate from animals, as somehow humans and animals should be in separate coordinates. You know, the parks are for the animals, our subdivisions are for us humans, and the twain shall never meet. Just the real little creatures like birdies. Birdies are okay, nothing else is okay, and that is just ridiculous to me, because we're already hogging this planet with people, and all of our backyards need to be a Noah's Ark for animals, in my opinion. It shouldn't be these perfectly baseball field cut lawns. It needs to be habitat friendly, and unfortunately there's many communities that don't even allow rewilding of your yard because it makes the neighborhood look yucky to other neighbors that are all about curb appeal. So it's going to take a really giant shift in our consciousness. In my opinion, we need to wake up and realize the damage we've done, and we need to stop being so obsessed about us not having a single weed in our yard and only the select plants we choose. We need as much natural diversity as possible, and as much animals that want to visit and park on our yards, the better. This is my opinion, and unfortunately it doesn't go well in some communities, and in the community I'm in, that kind of thinking doesn't go over very well. This community is about baseball field, straight line yards with perfectly manicured bushes and trees, everything looking out of a catalog, and that's not how I am. To me, wild is beautiful. A dead tree is beautiful, and it provides so much for so many species. So, and the other thing is this idea that we're so separate that we can't communicate with each other. We can't form friendships with each other. But yet we're so obsessed about cross-species relationships with every other species. When a duck is a friend with a dog, or a horse is a friend with a deer, we just all fawn over that. But a human, no, 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 no. But yet, I think one of the greatest things humans have ever done was to tinker around with wolves. Talk about a dangerous animal. And now we have dogs of such diversity because us humans were crazy enough to do that. I think that's the most wonderful, loving, caring creature has come out of that tinkering around, that cross-species relationship, and cats and horses, and on and on and on. Oh, now here's a buddy. I wish I could take his genetic material and get him to breed with a female and just select the most wonderful Mr. Wiener babies, and each next generation would just be more and more wonderful. You see, in my mind, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It brings joy to our lives. It helps us care about animals more. Look how big the industry is for animal care, especially with our pets, our dogs and our cats, how much money we spend it, and even on feeding wildlife like birds. We spend billions of years on it because it brings us such joy, and it teaches us empathy and caring and giving. These are good qualities. And I really get rattled when someone comes and challenges me and says, oh, no, you don't. This is wrong what you're doing. It's right for the birds, but it's wrong for the raccoons. Says who? Why? If we took our morals into the past, we would never have dogs. We would have a world never with dogs. Think how depressing that would be. It's like mankind is on this mission to be about progress, progress, progress. Progress to what? To what end? To travel the universe, find another planet, and rape it of its resources? I mean, come on. So, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really going off here. But it's got me in a mood today. So yeah, they're all showing up now, and I think I'm gonna stop yakking before I put my foot in my mouth any more than I already have. I've kind of gone off on a real rant here, which isn't my style. Usually I just want to talk about fun stuff. But thanks for listening if you've made it this far, and I'm sorry to those of you that don't want to hear it. So Mama Moira, I'm gonna shut up now.